I want to be on KWB resources. Yeah,
Oh, he's out, gotcha.
Connie and I are for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the also I just didn't want.
There for amendment, and I did get it early to figure all this out, but I was not aware of the so we probably will have a couple more people stumble in, hopefully. We'll just go ahead and start and kind of chat a little bit and let Connie and I introduce ourselves. We'll let y'all introduce. This is obviously coaching seminar, talking about coaching. We'll talk about a couple other things. I think we're scheduled from 9 to 11. Normally, we usually do this from 9 to 10-ish. Obviously, we're here to filter any questions after, so I don't know that we'll be here the whole 2 hours unless y'all need to be. Tell me, just because this new process that y'all are doing is new to us as well. We haven't done this before. So tell me what y'all done thus far.
And what do you mean by process?
So traditionally, you start at night, day one, and you go through at night, what, 20 sessions? And it seems like to me now you're getting a little orientation, 3 days or 4 days.
Okay, I have tomorrow's big nice starts.
Okay.
So on Monday, I'll go with my calendar if you guys are okay, but I put the dates there. It's easier. Let's say what we oversee. Are you guys all okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if I go back here on Monday, it was get to know KW. That was done with Liz in the training center. So we oversaw all this website here, all the function where we can get form, health, tools, everything's in there. So we went all over the website. Tuesday, they come in 101 in the other room with Rob. So we went over that and see other things about some tasks and looking at compacts in there, different things and tools. So we went through pretty much every little tab on the side to say, hey, this is what you guys can do it.
Right.
Yesterday, we were with Carla Keller, the compliance, and so we went through various form, how they need to be filled in command, creating opportunities and everything, and also how to get paid. And today, you're with you ladies.
I love it. So that's music to Connie and our ears in terms of this new program, because actually I was going to talk a little bit because I feel like in previous, this website's not talked about. I feel like Rob is not talked about enough. So I'm for real with the progress y'all made this far. So that's good. So how's everybody feeling? Because normally as coaches, Connie and I see the anxiety, it's like drinking from a fire hose and you got a million things coming after you. People are crazy. Is this the accelerated class or what? It's a lot of information. Do you feel overwhelmed? Or you like, what do I do next? Or is it, you're just kind of taking it on?
I'd say I'm sort of trying to take it in. I've been a bit more, how can we say? I have been looking a bit more forward to actually meeting a coach just to be able to ask them, more in-depth questions.
Sure.
Just because sometimes I feel like when I ask questions, I confuse people, giving myself the time. Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the main things I look forward to today is just being able to be my coach, be able to ask them a bit more questions as to the actual process, because it is a bit, I don't know how it is for everybody else here,
It's a lot.
but it's quite a bit,
It's a lot.
But what's that one, I'm sure,
Steep learning curve.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think that what we hear a lot from people is there's so much, so quick. So that's what coaching will really do when we get to that point, is align you with what you need to do first and second, and keep you on task. Because you gotta think about it. If you were going to school to be a doctor, would you learn it all in 3 weeks?
No.
It would take you how long? 8 years. My med school was 8 years. Just for a regular degree, if you were going for a 4-year college, would you learn anything? Yeah. Yeah, you learn on the job. Yeah. So I think we kind of all live in, no matter our age, we live in the world. I need to know everything's at my fingertips. I want to be an expert tomorrow. We've been doing this a long time. Neither one of us are experts. We've done it, got the t-shirts, failed forward. So we can give a little bit more advice, so you don't have to do that anymore. But I guess that's what I want to say is, yeah, don't have to do everything. That's the part of coaching I feel like is the best benefit, if we're gonna give you a structure of what you need to do today, because our goal is to get you in production in 90 days. And I know you're like, 90 days, go ahead, that's a long problem. But realistically, if you start, do the basics, do what we're asking you to do, and follow the systems, 90 days is achievable for sure. So I just kind of, usually at this point, people are looking like, oh, did I make the right choice? Like, there's so much coming at me. And I'll always advise you, go back and look at a lot of the stuff, because it's come at you so fast, especially when you onboard with Liz. They give you a ton of stuff. So in my coaching group, people will say, well, where's this? Where's this? I never got it. I'm like, I promise you, you got it. It is in there. So I will always say 30 days in, 60 days in, go back and look at some of that entry level onboarding stuff, because it's in there. Just that week, you had 10 million things coming at you, you might not have dove through it. I'll let Connie talk a little bit. We do have some things we'll go through, and we'll let you answer questions. We'll talk about the coaches. We'll talk about the times that we have coaching. Connie, why don't you talk a little bit about the benefits of coaching and your role, and tell them a little bit about you.
Sounds great. Well, I have been in business 20 years. So, no, I really do love it. I really do love it. But, so yeah, started coaching here a few years ago. And what you'll find about most of us coaches, this is not a money-making thing for us. This is our contribution back to the market center to help agents get going. And I always tell my story. I started a company called Helen Adams years ago, 20 years ago, and had no idea what I was looking for. And I remember going in there going, well, this is granite countertops and tile, this is for me. And not realizing what I was looking for, right? Not knowing. So y'all kind of took a shortcut, because I would have started here. We didn't have training. If I wanted mentor help, like what y'all are getting with us coaches, they wanted 800 a month. So just to put that in perspective, we're here to help you get in production, right? And as you probably noticed in this market center, we're all here going to help each other. It's not a cutthroat thing. A lot of agencies, y'all don't know the other agencies, they're not like that. They're not looking to help each other. We do. That's the culture of Keller Williams, and that's what you're going to really thrive in, because I can tell you, it took me 8 months to get my first deal, not 90 days, 8 months. And that felt forever when I was having my fees. I needed money, but you know, the main thing I remember, I stuck with it. I didn't care, because I was in a swim or drown situation, so I had no choice, which was probably the greatest thing for me. Called a huge why, and that's what propelled me through it. And remember too, 20 years ago, I got promoted in 2006. Guess what happened in 2008? Yes, what a wrong time to get into business, I thought, right? But I stuck with it. All I did was short sales and foreclosures that year, or 2 years after most agents got out of business. stick with it. And I guess that's my whole thing, what I'm trying to tell you is, stick with it. It will happen. If you put any energy, you put in anything, it's gonna occur. And I'm telling you, it will happen. You can make a lot of money in this business. But like Sharon said, the main thing is do your work. Okay, you don't come to a company and, oh, there's a bunch of leads and here I'm gonna go out and sell real estate. No, you gotta build a business, your business. We're entrepreneurs. But anyway, the question said, yes, we have, how many coaches now? 5?
So, now, y'all have this already. If you want it, I can give you a copy, but I don't want to overwhelm you with paper. Sure. So we'll go through some of this, but I think most of you have it already, but if you want one, you
You
can.
have it? So far. Oh, yes, I do. Thank you. Yes, I should know our thing.
Click on that page, so that.
Oh, it is.
Sure. Yes, yeah, maybe. So, yeah, we have, I think, when you think about it, Abby has stepped back a little bit from Summit, but really in the office, you've got Connie, myself, you've got Calvia, and you've got Dave, who just came in here and saved us a little bit with Zoom. We have Yassine. Yassine does online only on Zoom. Yassine is currently living in Morocco. But that doesn't keep him from, I mean, he has some successful people in coaching that have capped. Yassine seems to get people in coaching and they never leave him. So his technology skills are amazing. But you will never run into him in the office. Maybe every 6 months or so, he might come home, but typically he is, and I believe he teaches. I don't remember his times. I know from this period today, Michelle will be reaching out to each one of you who is director of coaching. I think she popped her hand in yesterday. She will be reaching out to you individually. She will be looking at your KPA, which I'm not sure if that has been sent to you. Lynn will send you that, which is kind of like just a personality test. I'm sure any place you've worked. So we kind of look at your KPA to see who might be a good fit. Michelle knows all of us backwards and forwards, our strengths, our weaknesses, all the things. So she kind of tries to pair you with a coach that is going to help develop your strengths and weaknesses. And sometimes it's about the timing that you guys can meet as well. Calvia is great. Calvia is strong. She's been a top producer in this office for years. Dave is fantastic. Dave just got back into our office and started coaching about a year ago. He has a broker status. I mean, everybody's knowledge. Connie's done this forever. You know, that's the good thing about Keller Williams training and coaches. We all still have our business. So sometimes we're going to hire coaches, but they are, like a lot of times you go to a seminar, right? And they're teaching and training, but they're not in the day-to-day grind. They might can tell you something, but are they doing it? You know, if they're telling you make 25 bucks a day and they're not doing it and they don't know how hard it is. So that's I think the unique thing about our coaching program. Connie and I are dealing with the same stuff you guys are dealing with, and we've all been there, so we can understand what you're going through as a new agent. Connie, when do you teach?
Wednesdays at noon, 12 to 1 on Wednesday.
And Michelle will go over this with you. You do not have to kind of resonate to a coach today, because really, Michelle and you will kind of develop a plan. I can't even remember when we had teaching these terrible, I should have the dates for all of y'all. I teach, you have to on Monday.
Oh, she gave us, yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, and we'll have that for you. And I can send you an email today. I teach 2 classes. I teach one in person. Tuesdays from 12:30 to 1:30 in person in the office. And then I also teach dual career agents, Wednesday nights, 7 to 8 by Zoom. So a lot of dual career agents in there, not all dual career agents. I will always recommend, advise, and Connie will probably agree, if you're not dual career, get in something in this office. You're gonna pick up the vibe from people, you're gonna sit in here and learn and hear things from other people. So if it's feasible, time related with your family and whatever else you have going on, and in person is great unless you just can't physically meet the demands of it. So that will help. Really, the goal of our coaching is to develop a strong foundation so that we're holding you accountable. I mean, for an example, there's daily activities, there's training, there's things that we ask you to do. I had a girl this summer. It happens. Kids got out of school. She did a lot with the kids. She had a great summer. What does that mean? Probably June, July, halfway in August. When we sat down and she said, I'm not making the money or I'm not seeing the results. We all know what we do today shows up 90 days from now. So I could have just yelled at her and said, you had to work all summer. But we sat down and we talked about what did you do and what did you do in June? What daily activities were you doing? What prospecting were you doing? How many open houses did you do? How many calls a day were you making? And I let her self-discover. Well, I really had one more. I had a great summer, but I really haven't been working all summer. If you worked at Wells Fargo and you took 3 months off, unless you have paid leave, are you getting paid? So that is the problem in this industry, that people think, I got it to make money. As Connie said, if you don't work, you don't make money. So that's always a good way to look at it, that you've got to do the daily things. I also want to talk a little bit about transaction group or T group. Has anybody enlightened on that? Have y'all talked about that at all? I've been. Okay. Who's your T group?
Absolutely. Oh,
Rob. Okay.
First one's this afternoon.
Okay. Oh, all right, good. So if you don't know who your T group partner is, let me know or get with Liz. We need to establish that, just to kind of refamiliarize people who don't know. Your transaction group partner is going to teach you forms. If you're North Carolina, South Carolina, it's like a 12 to 14 week program. You're going to go through all forms. You're going to learn to know what form I need for buyers, what form I need for listings. It is a foundation staple piece of building your success. Connie has taught T group before. If you do not know who your T group partner is by the end of this week, I need you to know who that is. And if you have problems, I can give you my number. We can figure it out. Same thing. There's Zoom options for that at night. I teach one on Monday nights from 6 to 7, and there's several opportunities in the office. We are going to be ramping up that more in the new year. So where it's kind of like nobody's left behind, because you can't say I couldn't get into a group because there's so many groups. You're just making excuses if you're not going. I will say the good thing is that's a checkoff list. Once you go and complete that, there is a system that you check it off. You're done. You graduate. Keller Williams will actually give you a certification. You get a gift card. That you're done with that. You don't have to complete it. A lot of times, a lot of my students will go through it one time. But again, it's kind of like they're drinking fire hose when they're going through it, right? It might not make sense. Like, I listen to you, Sharon, but I don't have a listing, so what you're saying really don't make a lot of sense. So now the second time I got my listing, I might jump back in just to make sure I'm doing everything. So it is always an option to jump back into that. But that is a fundamental, that is a non-negotiable. You have got to do that. You're gonna appreciate that one time.
it's really helpful, actually. What is?
If she's there,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing about Ignite, you're having different, it's not the same teacher the whole time. You have a different agent because there's so many different perspectives in real estate. So it's a great I think it's a great course because you're learning from different seasoned agents and learning their ways. I love to sit in it sometimes. I still learn something.
She's talking about T group as thorough.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
team groups, yes. That's good. Yeah, you gotta know your form.
And I always say, you know, there's different T groups that teach different ways, but you're like, well, what do I do? What do I do? Do the homework, do the forms, make you a mock listing, make you a mock buyer folder, do it in command. We'll talk about all that. I know I'm throwing out words that might not make sense. But do that now, because when you do get business, you can just look back at this and say, oh, I know how to do 80% of this. And then you can go back to your T group partner or kind of have a conversation with your coach and say, I remember this contract, but I didn't really have a buyer at that point, but here is my template. And I just don't know how to fill in these 2 blanks, but guess what? I got the rest of the blanks. That's the way you utilize that for your systems in place. Any questions about transaction group? Who teaches it? How to get involved? Where do you find it? Do you still need to know who is your person?
Question, but for you guys, did someone say that they have a tea room meeting today?
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's not-
It's 1:30, let me just verify.
Was there one?
So the name of those.
So normally, I think the process with Liz is she
Yeah, 1:30.
T group times. And then you get back to her and select who your T group part. So I know Liz is, I think she was out there today and today, but if y'all need help with that, let me know. If y'all have this, my number's on here, because that is a fundamental. We want to make, like, the first thing when I sit down with one of my coaching clients, I say, who's your T group partner? And if they say, I don't know, I'm like, I don't know that we can meet. Because that's your first step, you've got to know who that is.
Oh, yeah, I'm meeting with Liz tomorrow morning, because she's been asked if we have to go to meet, and then we'll do all of my.
So you
all
probably
board.
have that information.
But I was wondering if I could just join into here and see, if, you know, that's why, is it still in person? Okay.
Yeah.
And Liz will actually assign you your person.
Oh, yeah, but I can choose, right, so I thought maybe listen in.
Yeah, you can probably sit in. The goal kind of with, if I have to differentiate the two, and I'll take Connie's, you know, advice on this. If I have to differentiate T group versus coaching, T group is teaching you the how and the when. Here's the form, here's how I use it, what form, how do I fill it out? Coaching may be, oh, I'm in this multiple offer. How do I negotiate this? Or what are some best practices if I'm up against another agent at a listing? Coaching is more building your systems. Coaching is more of, all right, I got my way through the buyer consultation and it was rough and I was sweating, but I could fill out the form. How do I build my system so that the next time when a buyer calls me, I've got my packet together? I know what to say so that every time I have one, it flows and I become more comfortable, which makes the buyer more comfortable. Does that make sense? No. We get a lot of questions about who does what, who do I ask what? There's a lot of, we're all here to help, but there's a lot of who do I ask for what? So that's why I try to make sure we know whose role is what. What would be?
I love that. That's exactly right. So, and we're also here to help you with your mindset. Accountability, you know, we're gonna say, hey, this is what we should be doing this week. How'd it go? What happened? Okay, accountability is big because even though we're entrepreneurs, it does help to have someone keep you accountable. So yeah, we're here for a mindset, guide you through everything, you know, try our best to be there. Now, like Karen mentioned, we're full-time brokers. We're doing exactly what you're doing. Okay, so our, you know, you mentioned a little bit about, you know, there's coaches out there like, well, I don't know what he charges, $1,200, $1,500 a month. That's full-time coaching. Okay, we are basically brokers, but we are contributing to helping other agents. So our time slots may be, you know, obviously sometimes we may be busy with our own things and we may direct you, hey, For example, like you mentioned, let's say you got a buyer, you don't have to fill out the form, that you need to go to your T group partner. So we all have kind of our roles. The reason we're doing that is to make sure we're giving you what you need and not confusing you and being available for where you need us, but understanding our role will help you.
Yeah, and there's,
And you can follow, I was just looking for it.
yeah, that's why my hairdresser.
Did any of y'all take bold? No,
My hairdresser will never be unemployed.
yep,
So, you know, as Connie said with coaching. This is something that you need to think about, but Keller Williams has a program. Internationally, globally. Maps coaching, which means they're Keller Williams coaches, you can join into that. It is more of a one-on-one coaching. There's coaches at different levels. I mean, there's people that make $3,000 just for answering that. Here's the way that works. They're gonna answer the phone for you on Tuesdays from 2:15 to 3:15. I don't even know if you get an hour. That's your design time, and you're paying them monthly. If you're on vacation, if you're sick, you don't show up for that, you still pay them, regardless. If you have something going on the Sunday night at 6 o'clock, you're not calling a coach. You have that 45-minute slot, and that's what you have. So that level of accountability, I don't think people understand how much time we give, how much we put into it. And Connie and I both, because I know how hard she works, we will always help the willing and the given, but sometimes you have to be accountable to yourself. If you are not going to your T group, if you are not coming to coaching, if you're not taking advantage of the training in the office, I'll be ugly right now. Don't call me Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Cause I'm be like, who's your T group? Did you go? How long have you known about this? And why are you calling me Sunday night at 8 o'clock? Cause I might not answer. But the beauty of this is if you are doing the things you need to, you won't need to call me Sunday night at 8 o'clock. There's a coach in the hub. Y'all know what the hub is. Y'all know what the hub is? Hub is where you can eat free almost every day. There is donuts there, and it even gets better. Y'all starting a good time around Christmas.
I would like to mention something Sharon touched on that I think is so valuable in that, you know, and I'm not saying you can't make it if you don't come in, I'm just saying the energy that you feel when you treat us like a business, come in this office, that's why I think I was successful when I came here. Because not only, you know, I don't work out at home because I will empty the dryer, let the dog out, do everything, that's my work. And I know that. I get up in the morning, take a shower, I get dressed, I come in the office, and I have an office because I want to be here. Okay, this is, I'm telling you, that is one of the stronger things you could do is make yourself present. Because like you said, you don't learn from everyone.
You will, so there is a coach in the hub every morning, Monday through Thursday from 9 to 10. So how do you use that to your availability? Yes, if there's something you're working on, if you want to role play a script, if you have a situation and you're like, oh, I put this fire yesterday, but I couldn't convert it. Connie, I know you're not my coach, but Connie's in there from 9 to 10 on Wednesdays. Could I chat with you and what are some scripts I could say to convert that buyer to get them into an appointment? That is your time. So really, if you think about when it's uninterrupted office hours, but you could always find a coach, that is your time. Now, we gotta be reasonable. If you show up and say, I got a listing appointment at 10 a.m. and Connie's there at 9, I'm not even sure God can help me.
Right.
I'm gonna pull out the tequila bottle.
So again, we're not trying to send a message, we're not available, we just have to be accountable. I tell all of my coaching clients, if you get a lead, we want to service them. But do not get a lead at 6 o'clock at night and say, I'll be at your house in the morning at 8. Because probably if it's a listing, unless you've done this before at another agency, honestly, full disclosure, you probably can't prep for that overnight by yourself. So you may say, okay, today is Tuesday, what works better for you? Thursday afternoon or Friday morning? That's 2-day, 3-day notice, because in that time, even if it's Tuesday night, I could reach out to Sharon and say, hey, I got a listing at 123 Main Street. I'm gonna pull everything I know to pull. I'm gonna do everything I've learned in my T group. I'm gonna have my forms 80%. Can I meet you in the hub between 9 and 10, or can we talk about it before class or after class? So that's kind of how we want to expedite the program. It can't just be like the emergency call, right? We are not a dollar emergency. We're just not. We cannot be with the amount of volume that we do. Questions so far? I'm going over a lot of what to do, what not to do.
Is Michelle in the office?
Not today, but she will be. Michelle, she normally does this. We are kind of backups today. She is out of town. She has her aunt from Germany coming and they've had this trip. So Michelle is normally in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you will see her more and more. Do y'all have this sheet, the leadership sheet? I think that's what we did. Okay.
It'll give you this back to you tomorrow, see tomorrow and every.
And you can keep that with your notes. And there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and your coach will probably give you these, but there are some helpful things you can start day one getting on. Chip Walton does a phone call every Monday. It's Zoom from 8 to like 8:20. Liz will send out an email. You can jump on it. It is 20 minutes of gold. Remember, Chip is a coach. He's a VIP. If he's done it, I mean, he's done it all. If he was coaching and paying for that call, I can't tell you what he would pay. That is free to anybody in the office. He will talk about market. He will talk about anything currently. He will give you reports that you can use. I will say as a coach, I require my people to be on. It is a nugget of 20 minutes that whether you're full-time or dual career, you probably can get on that because you're either in the car in this lovely Charlotte traffic or you're at home that you can do. He also does a 7:45 to 8 o'clock mindset, I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't jump into those.
It's the way to win the morning.
Yeah.
So explain it to him again, so Liz will send out that email when every.
She normally will send, and actually there's a flyer in the hub that you can scan the QR code. I think
It's on the office calendar, that's.
it is on the office calendar, so we're gonna
link to it.
Yeah.
Might be on that.
that hub is a great, I like to call it an infomercial. Anything in there, like I know a lot of times Connie and I are really good because there's so much coming down the pipeline from the office, go to this, go to this. I know Connie and I both are really good at segmenting really what a new agent should go to. I don't want my new agents going to land 301. Cause we ain't been to land 101. So, you know, you're gonna see a ton of stuff and you're gonna be like, I can't go to everything, I'm surrounded. But I think as coaches, we do a good job of kind of letting Liz put everything out there. In addition, I will double back, piggyback, and I'll say, hey, did y'all see this? This is a good one, you might want to be in it. So that stuff is usually hung in the coach's kind of corner in the hub as well.
Yeah, and if you see any CMA classes, take them. you need to learn?
There is a course, and y'all may not need that as much as some others, but Tasha recycles a course once a month called Bulletproof Your Transaction. Yes, I always recommend doing that. It's usually the last, it's usually the last Monday of the month. Let's see.
It is on Monday the 24th.
Bulletproof your transaction one.
And it's Zoom and it's in person. And same thing, you may take it this November and you may be like, what are these chicks talking about? I have no clue. But when you get a contract and you do command, or maybe in your T group, when you start playing around, it will start to put the pieces together and make sense. Once you get through Ignite, that I'll say for the first couple weeks, Ignite is your baby. That is your focus, your T group. And then if we get into who is your coach, if you can focus on those three things, that's all I need you to focus. If there's extra classes you want to go to it, fine, but don't overwhelm yourself. Focus on your Ignite, your T group, and starting to get affiliated with your coaching group. Questions? I feel like you might- I do want to talk, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a question, because like I have a potential of 2 buyers that I've been slowly working with, and one in particular, I told her that she needed to give me a couple weeks or more to be ready for her, but she's been ready since mid-October to start conversations.
That's okay, we can handle
Okay, it's like, I'd love to like start.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Yeah, no, I'm working with a French-based group. She's one of, she's a French speaker, she's from France, and she's been here for a long time, so she's now ready. She's just, she's like, I want to work with you, and I was like, oh, you will.
One thing I would ask you is, and again, it's been so long, I cannot remember the process, it's probably not all of it. But have you been to Canopy? Do you have a super key? If you wanted to go out and see a home tomorrow. 'Cause I know it's-
I have Canopy and I started looking at it yesterday, I'm trading you on it, which is virtual. I did start the realtor training as well, and I did pay for the super key.
Okay,
Because I was like, I need access.
Yeah. so we're good.
Okay.
So, we can talk about that, whatever, Tasha is your T group. We can talk about the 2 forms that need to be done. If you have a ready, willing, hot buyer, don't make them wait. Now, we may be a little bit ahead of the curve in your forms and things, but we'll figure that out. Not a big deal.
That's awesome.
Another couple, and I'm trying to get them, but another agent's also trying, but she has more experience and she's the wife of the VP of their company. So I'm trying to like contact her.
Well, she already said she wanted to work with you.
No,
That's
that's
what
another.
Well, we need to make the other ones. too.
Work with personal.
That's not a good idea.
So, we all did a big push with Rob yesterday, and I'm sure you know that the way to book anything with Rob is to put that. And he's in the office, I'm sure he gave you your time. I will always say one of the biggest things you can do is make sure you book an appointment with him to make sure you get into the DocuSign and your forms are connected. I'll use you for an example. If you call me on a Friday and say, I need to write a buyer's agency agreement, and we can plan for that, or I help you do that, here's what normally happens this early in your stay. We go in and your forms aren't connected. So we spent 30, 40, 50, 75 minutes trying to figure out forms. When that should be a foundation work that we are making sure, even though you're not ready, make sure we get that.
I did sign it in DocuSign yesterday and there's nothing there.
So I'm telling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you don't have a T group or if you hadn't booked a one-on-one with Rob, get in there, figure out your forms, South Carolina, North Carolina, and make sure there are forms in there. The other part of, I think, is vital is to, I want to talk about team meeting. Obviously, Liz maybe brought y'all in, talks about team meetings. How do you find it? Those are great. You're going to start affiliating yourself with people that you can ask questions. You will get nuggets from the team meeting. The value of that is huge. There's always little pieces in there, whether you meet a vendor, whether you hear a nugget about the market. Culturally, you know, we have a great vibe in this office. I think people don't understand really the culture of this office. So I want to make sure that Connie and I don't have the same business. I may pay, Connie is the queen of open houses, and I may say, Connie, can you send me your open house plan? I need to adapt it to where it's Sharon Martin's open house plan. Well, Connie's worked hard on that. She's probably just not gonna give it to me, but she's gonna help me get to where I need to be, to where I can be half as good as her. That is the culture of this office. Now, I can't call Connie Friday night at 7:45 when I got an open house in the morning at 10 o'clock. But that is culture that we definitely, we can't, you know, you can't make that culture. It is grown, it is developed in this office, which I think we don't value that.
So I'm sorry to interrupt.
You're right. I love that conversation.
Essentially, we get the building blocks, but it's expected for us to apply our own creativity to be able to thrive from our business.
If I could answer that question, I think that's what coaching does as well. We're gonna give you systems. We're gonna give you some ideas. Like I talked about gratitude last night and had a gratitude letter and I did a 30-day, I stole it from Van Shaw, 30-day gratitude thing. So we're giving you like bingo cards that tell you daily activities. There's nothing short of what you can do. Now, your niche might be something different. You may sit down with your coach and say,
I wanna go to fist fights.
yeah, or you may say, I live in an apartment community right now. How can I take this apartment community to future home buyers building wealth? And your coach might work with you on a plan to develop.
Yeah.
That kind of answer? Yeah. Now you are responsible for your T group and going to things. The only thing I didn't mention, and they probably mentioned it somewhere along the line, Tech Tuesdays, y'all heard that?
Take them.
You cannot hear it enough. What is it called? Tech Tuesday? Jenna is a whiz. He is fantastic at DocuSign. If somebody calls me and asks me, hey, I need this, and this, I'm like, have you talked to Rob and have you talked to Jenna? And if it's no and no, you need to talk to them.
I have a question. So when it comes to my deck and website and everything, a lot of my husband's been in that for over 30 years. Can I bring him along so he understands a little bit, so he can help me more and support me better with that?
That's a list.
That sounds good.
Yeah, you can do that. That's a Liz question, a Market Center question, I don't know that they'll know. But Scott Leroy Marketing as well will do a ton of work for you. And guys, you're paying the fees. Who told you there was an office fee every month? They didn't forget to tell you that.
Oh, Rob, he said, okay, it's free to you. We're like, no, we're.
So I guarantee you, Keller is gonna have no problem pulling that fee every month, right?
Yeah.
There are a ton of work. if you're paying that fee every month and not taking advantage of these resources, then you can only blame yourself. In addition to Tech Tuesdays, I want Connie to talk about marketing. She has a little insider scoop with that. In addition, there are marketing plans in this. I will say, if you don't book a one-on-one with Jules, like I require my coaching clients, you have to at least book one. So I'm gonna let her take it.
Well, yeah, so basically they're a marketing design team, and they are my daughters. That my youngest just moved to Charleston, so she'll do everything on Zoom, but Leah's present and she's the one who'll book the one-on-ones. So I would encourage you to meet with them because they are going to give you for free the resources and show you how to do whatever you need to do. Now, you can also, like she mentioned, order a package from them. The one package I really like all my coaching clients to order from them, not a package per se, it is the digital pre-listing or digital buyer presentation. The reason I love it so much, it's short and sweet, it's $75. Y'all can even rent it for your presentation. 75, yep. I just love that. Now, the reason I love it, before I go on a listing appointment, I'm sending this short video. It's literally 3 minutes. They click through it. They learn a little bit about me, some testimonials, what we do for a buyer, what we do for a seller. It's great. I'll be happy to share that with y'all so you can look at it. But that's been so effective because by the time I get to the house for my listing appointment, they already kind of know me a little bit. They've seen a face, they know my background, they know what we do, right? So by the time I come in, I can focus more, not explaining who I am, Keller Williams, I can focus on their home. So anyway, book an appointment with them, like just click on marketing help. You get a 30-minute appointment. They have slots available all through the week. Book it with them. Ask them, what can I do to make sure I brand myself? That's what they're there for. Now, one thing Sharon and I both use is we get a monthly newsletter, which is so effective with our client database. We don't do anything. They just create it, do it, send it out. And that's later on when you make some money, you want to invest in things like that. Right now, you go with the cheaper things. That's why they have that for new agents. So you can get something and get started without being on it.
See you next week.
Great, great. But yeah, so you
I don't know where they come from.
Michelle did something, I paid no attention to. I guess I should. Is anybody on Zoom that has?
there's two participants. Who are they? See right there, go to tweets. I mean, I think you click on it itself, on the participant, on the
Yeah, you click right in the middle.
Yeah,
Participants.
no, not
Not
the
arrow, not the arrow.
beside. Yeah, there you
There you go.
go. Okay, those are the only.
I see this
Oh,
one.
that's you. Oh,
Was there yesterday?
Okay. So I'm gonna take this off on this. Well, it's on the email. I just wanna make sure. So we want to focus on this sheet for a little bit. Do y'all have one of these sheets yet? Y'all already have one?
For one-on-one.
Hey, thank you so much.
The only way I knew was. Not email yet.
Oh, Michelle, that's not her yet.
Like, that's what the frame. Thank you. And I looked and see that, email, I did not.
So this is the kind of, blow your mind for a minute. So I just wanna look at this, no, I was gonna put. I was gonna leave that. Let's just look at this sheet. So people will usually say, like, there's a big class in the training room right now. It is business planning. They run that class every year at this time. Because technically, if you wait till January to start planning for 2026, it is too late. I usually start my business planning clinic in August. And that seems crazy, but realistically, I'm trying to finish how I can finish strong with the last quarter. So we talk about creating a business plan because people are like, I want to close X amount of transactions. I sat down with one of my coaching clients yesterday. She wanted to close 12 last year. She is at 9 now. She has 2 under contract. So 9, 10, 11. So we may or may not be one short, but I think she's gonna have something going her contract, new construction that'll close next last year. So she said, will you count that to make my 12? I said, well, it won't close, but we can count it. So when we think about, everybody thinks, what is the most common answer when I ask somebody what they want to make in real estate? What do we think is the most common number 8?
Yep. Everybody.
And I'll tell you the rest of it. 100 grand.
Yeah.
It comes from class too, I think.
Yeah,
Real estate class. That was,
they always.
and they mentioned it.
I mean, I don't, I've always heard that girl say, I don't know if 100 grand is what 100 grand used to be, you know, but everybody will always say that. So what we actually want to accomplish here is to look at this, setting a goal. And over the next year, and your coach will go over this with you, you can do this exercise, we're not gonna do it together. But over the next year, what do you want to accomplish in real estate? How much money will you take? I use examples, so I'm sorry to tell all the stories. But I have told the girl that I was working with yesterday, my goal is to have you closing at least 3 a month. One is going to bills and all the things you need to pay. Check. One check is going to complete the savings. You don't even see it. The other check, we're gonna split it. A little bit of fun, she's a single mother, a little bit of kid stuff. And the other is some type of an investment back into the business, whether they're doing sign package or lock boxes, or she's developing a marketing plan with Jules and Leah. I said, that is my goal for you right now. 3 paychecks, 3 closings. One handles your bills and like, one goes to savings. You don't even see it. Doesn't matter if I don't even cash it, have it go straight to savings. And the other one, we're split. Because we think about it, we don't really have the big corporate people to take out the taxes. We don't really have the corporate people to pay the dental insurance for us before we see the net, right? I think that is a lot of miss or misunderstanding in real estate. Like, I was a corporate job, I had good benefits, I had good bonuses. I thought I was smart. I did not realize that all the things in real estate, being an entrepreneur, that you have to plan for. So when we talk about using the economic model, which is actually in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, this example talks about Margaret, who wanted to have a net income of $85,000. So what Margaret is trying to figure out is how many contacts does she have to have each week? We talked about the daily activities, right? If you do 5 contacts today and 5 tomorrow and 5 the next day, if you have a good week of 5 days in a row contacts, that'll turn into a good week, a good month, a good quarter, a good year. It's the way you have to think about it. So in this example, her net income that she needed to fund her life goals was $85,000. Her cost of sales, and your coach will get more individually on this. Here's kind of like your company dollar. What are you spending in your your royalty fees, your split, things of that nature from Keller Williams. And then if we go down and we look at the cost of your expenses, in this example, they have about 30%. I typically think as a newer agent, you could probably do 20%. I don't know in the beginning that you have a ton of cost of sales other than your split, you got some signs coming, you got some lot boxes a little bit, you might be doing a little bit of marketing. You're not doing a ton of cost of sales to begin with. It talks about their gross commission. It talks about the average commission per transaction. I would say buyer commission right now is probably anywhere from 10 to 12 is average commission. And then it says with its formula, how many number of needed transactions. This is always eye-opening to me. So I always count number of transactions. When I do my business plan, if I said I want to make 100 grand, I don't really count the 100 grand, right? Because I could close 4 homes and make 100 grand. What does that mean? I quit work for the rest of the year? It might be nice, but I've always been taught if you count the number of transactions, you will be fine because you're going to do different transactions during different months, right? You may close 3 in May because it's the spring market and it's a lot more activity. You may close 1 in September because of maybe a little back to school hangover or in the summer. So if you're looking on a wheel and you wanted to close 12 in a year, you got to kind of cycle those out to say, well, I may have 3 in May, I may have 1 in August. Now, does that mean you only shoot for 1 in August? No. But I think it is when people start and say, I want to make 100 grand, they never know it can equal to only 11 transactions. When you say you want to make 100 grand, not knowing what you don't know, how many transactions did you think you had?
Maybe around 20.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you thought it was harder and the number had to be higher. I'm not saying it's not hard. Yeah, that's usually the response we get. Now, how many contacts do you have to make to get to those 11? How many appointments do you have to go on? Because we're not going to get every appointment. Let's be honest. When we start out, we are green. We are rusty. Do we have 100% conversion with everybody we meet? No, we keep sharpening our tools. We keep role playing. We keep developing our skills so that our conversion rate might get to the point that if you're going 5, you know you're taking 4 automatically. There's always going to be one that maybe is not the circumstances. Maybe the sellers can't sell, or maybe the house, there's always something. But once you get your conversion rates, then that's going to be better because you have to go on less appointments because you can convert them better. In addition, we look at the number of contacts. We look at the remaining amount of weeks in a year, and then we look at our goal. Weekly contact goal. So in this case for Margaret, if you want to make 85,000, she would need to have 22 contacts. 22 contacts means conversations about real estate, a 2-way conversation. Margaret has their email, their phone number, their address, their dog's name, their children's name, their birthdates. They are having a legitimate conversation about potential real estate. Does that make sense? This is a measurable target that Margaret can hit each week in order to get to her 85,000. Questions around this example? I don't know how you explain it to the people.
And tell me if this is inappropriate for me to ask.
It's a safe space.
So we're talking as real agents, right? But what is a seasoned agent like you both? Like how many transactions is a seasoned agent making like this year that has been, it's downturn, right?
Oh, it just really depends. I mean, our business all varies. I mean, obviously, you can do, if you calculate this, if you do 4 $375,000 homes, or your cap. And y'all are very blessed, you don't know this, but Karen and I both, for the last 20 years, have been paying, paying KWB 25,000 a year, not 13,500, and it's a great split. I mean, think about it. any business you have on your own, there's gonna be overhead. That 13.5, I feel like that's good overhead. That's manageable. If you're just 370 transactions, you can work. That's where you make money.
They're different all over the board. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, I was on the team one time, I closed 112 transactions in a year. But here's the say, I didn't do that by myself. I had a transaction coordinator, I had somebody feeding me leads, I had somebody doing paperwork. I was just go get it, convert it, get it off my plate. That is unheard of, and I don't mean like I'm superwoman. That just means that was a concept of me surrounding myself. Not by myself, there's no way me now as a single agent I could do that, but I will say probably Connie and our business transaction per year has fallen because we are coaching and it takes up a lot of our time. But I will almost say in my retrospect, because price points have changed and they haven't gone down, and because we know our value, we're probably making the same, not a lot totally different, because price points have sustained. Does that make sense? Yeah.
It's
So
all about the price point, go to the high dollars, same thing.
it's limited. What other career can you go in where it is unlimited capability? You have the same capability I have. It's just who's gonna do the most daily activities, who's gonna surround themselves, and who's gonna work the hardest.
I have a question about that coach chat. Is there a way, and I know that I might not be able to apply to everyone, that, you know, like it's what, 13,
13 high and then 3,000 will.
like, once we, like, let's say sell our first house or, like, we post that transaction, we just put that all towards it.
No, just 30%.
I'm not gonna say it all off at one time.
Oh, is that
I've been asking for that for years.
I mean, it would be done on it away, and then you.
Well, you, I guess, good. Well,
As in that position, I was just asking.
they can take that 30% each time until you need it.
Okay. And I will say, get with your coach, get with Darren or Teresa or whoever on board you. If you don't know what you signed up for, I've had a lot of people in my coaching group. They think that 80-20 is the best or whatever, so they'll go to that. Because in theory, they think, well, I'm gonna keep more of my money, but they never get to that their first year. So I'm like, what did you do? Because I've had a girl who did 4, almost 5, and she never capped. Whereas she would have been on the other plan, she would have capped. So if you did something different, this might be the time to reevaluate, because once you sign up, they usually will not let you change it until your anniversary year. So I just say that it's coming from contribution. Think about what you did. If you have to revisit it, I don't know if they'll let you or not, but if you went for that big number thinking it was the best, it's the best in your entry level years. Okay, so we talked about coaching versus T group. We all know that by the end of the week, you should have a T group partner. We all know that Michelle, she'll probably be a little bit out of pocket the next, I'm sure when she gets back driving into the office, probably early next week, she'll be reaching out to you, talking, assigning coaches. You know who your leadership team is, you know KWB resources, there is a ton of stuff in there. One thing I want to mention to you, your coaches will probably mention this, Marty Miller 66-day challenge. It is 66 days of 4-minute videos about commands. You can literally say how many days are left in the year. Don't watch 1,000 videos in a day, but they're 4-minute videos. So you can do 3 videos and knock it out. But that is a great resource to learn stuff. That's also a great resource. Like I teach my coaching people, when they call me and ask me this, I'll say, have you watched the video? And obviously that is a great resource to use, as well as some of the training videos from KWB resources. I don't think we really know how much is on KWB resources.
And so can we find some of those videos and pick them up?
Marty Miller at YouTube.
Okay,
He works for Keller Williams, but not this office.
Okay.
I did have a question. You mentioned something about, leadership groups. Leadership groups are productivity coaches, right? Or is that something separate?
Leadership is, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Leadership is kind of the leadership team,
Okay.
like your broker, Teresa, Darren, Lynn, Jules and Leah, all the support staff that make you all the things.
Okay.
Remember,
Yeah.
Carla, Tasha, Brenda, who owns it, Chip, all the people that are.
I thought office leaders.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking you guys were talking about, like a different sort of T slash,
But I'm giving you enough group, you wanna join something else? I'm just kidding. So there's a lot of things in here. There's advertising guidelines. Cannot tell you if I had $1 for every time somebody called me and said, I'm making my business card, what can I put it on it? I'm gonna be like, have you looked at the advertising guidelines? Because that will tell you what you can put on it.
do you have any tips for?
Follow the advertising guidelines.
Oh, other than that, Okay.
On Canva, there are some templates already built into there on the KW stuff that you can kind of follow, and I believe they are already technically
Yes.
following the guidelines, you just have to input your stuff in
Yes.
there. And then being a provisional, you have to make sure it's approved by Tasha or Sigma.
And that'll say that on the advertising guidelines. Also in Command on Canva, they already have some buyer presentations and listing presentations, which I'm sure that they have shown you. On-demand training, I think that's what got us here. Does anybody know the password? for that?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
shoot.
I really don't know, because mine is logged into my, is this an exclamation mark or?
No.
Because mine is logged into my computer. On-demand training, there are a ton of videos in here. Jules and Leah have a video about submitting commission requests, like, Scott Leroy has a ton of stuff in here, so you could play in here all day long. You can time block for this. Remember, don't waste your whole day in here, but you might want to say for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna do Ignite from 9 to 12, right?
Yeah.
And you may say, once that happens, I'm gonna go sit in the hub, or I'm gonna book a focus room, and I'm going to play in KWB resources for 30 minutes. That is time block, and that will get you where you need to be. Frequent ask questions. I love this. Who do I call? Who do I call? Normally, do you know who you call to ask this? You call your coach or you call your T group and you say, who do I call? And I'm like, did you look? I am a great director. I should be wearing traffic. I'll say, did you look at who to call? Because most of the time you can find the answers. Again, I'm not saying will not help, but some self-discipline, self-control, figuring it out is always pretty good. Questions about anything we have missed? I wonder what Michelle sent me. Coaching, there will be a Facebook page that is private to coaching. There are always things in there. There are coaching links that we will provide you to that has kind of what we talked about, a lot of the resources.
Have y'all got that one? It's PC, Keller Williams PC on Facebook.
Is
Just for us.
that what's?
I don't think
On the
they have
website, they do that, there's store link in the bottom and the website.
Oh, the portal.
That would be,
They
they told us to
I
talk.
don't think the coaching one is already.
Yeah.
Still invited, but.
Okay.
There's productivity monthly newsletters, there are, this is what stuff, definitely events. We do have I think we're gonna change it next quarter, next year, but normally we have once a month, we will have a in-person meeting. The next one is November 19th
19, well,
from 12 to 2. So if you want to go ahead and put that on your calendar, it's gonna be in the training room. We're gonna talk some business planning, so I would definitely make a plan to be there.
and bring.
Yes.
So.
November 19th, 12 to 2, and for us, since that's on the Wednesday, we will just have that instead.
And there'll be a ton of more stuff coming out. Also, I like to mention, you may get something from our assistant, who is Mylene, Myline. Her script tagline will say cyber backer. She is a third party that we utilize for a lot of the behind the scenes things. Cyberbacker is the company that she works for. You don't know how many people I've had call me and say, I'm talking about the Cyberbacker. So I like to make sure that you know anything that comes from Mylene is proven safe. She also will send out, Connie talked about accountability. She will send a link every Friday. By end of day Sunday, you will click on that link and you will add what she has asked for. Number of contacts, who did you get under contract? How many people did you add to your database? All the things. Here's what I'll tell you. If you have goose eggs, doesn't matter. Fill it out. Because what it does is it makes you accountable to yourself. It starts a pattern of making sure you're keeping up with your numbers. In addition to, it develops a system so that you can utilize it to say, what I do today affects my income 90 days. So in December, I got 53 contacts every week. In January, I got 75 contacts every week. In February, maybe I already have some transactions and I only got 12 contacts. So we never want you to be in that role. We never want you to have 2 contracts and get all focused in that to where you forget your prospecting. And then the next month, we wake up every day unemployed, right? So accountability, tracking your numbers, you know, the numbers don't lie in anything we do. When I get on that scale in the morning, does it tell me if I have when I have my birthday, January 6th, does it tell me that that birthday is going up? The numbers don't lie in anything you do. So if you are denying the fact of your own numbers, you can never have a successful business. So it's tracking. So Mylene will send you that. And even if it's 0, you want to fill it in because you'll see how you grow.
And like she mentioned, she sends it on Friday, no later than Sunday evening, but I would suggest do it Friday when you get it out of the way. Some people are just waiting to see if they're having anything from that weekend. But I think it's better, there's many people that forget by the time it's Sunday, just fill it out, send it in, don't take 5 minutes.
The only time you don't want to do it on the Friday is if you had an open house on Saturday and you were gonna get 12 more contacts. You might want to keep it and wait, be right, just get it.
Question. Yes, does, all the forms, so if I wanted to see like my progress for stuff like that, does it like keep track of it somewhere where I can like, somebody, like you can pull a report from me or something and then I can see, you know, and like.
Yeah, if you fill it in every week.
Yeah.
We can pull it up exactly what you filled in, but remember the other thing we talked about yesterday, we also have this productivity agent tracker that I use. It's super simple. Just download it. It's got 4 quarters. Every quarter I put in what I did. And then it's automatically gonna say, well, you met 70% of your goal this month or whatever. So I know I gotta work my butt off the following month to make up for what I didn't get, right? So that's how, at least in my group, we're gonna be tracking that just on a quarterly.
I do have a question. I read a little bit on online forum about open houses and things of the sorts, and how sometimes certain open houses have people showings, but no better you show up. How do you deal with that specific situation? I mean, I'm sure maybe we all have to go through that maybe once or twice.
You're thinking not getting enough traffic.
Yeah, having nobody, go into the open house.
You know, is advertising, doing all the right things you're supposed to do for an open house in advance, because a lot of people will say, okay, Thursday, I'm gonna do an open house, they schedule it for Saturday. They haven't really done enough marketing, you know, for example, you will wanna go door knock prior to the open house, and basically invite people to open house and just, you know, things like that. So there's a lot of things that go into it, if you market it right, you should get more traffic, but that's not always something we can control either.
Yeah,
I've marketed for a week and have 2 people. I mean,
There's a system around that.
there is.
To how to do it open. And I will say, most of the time, people will shadow
Yeah.
an open house and learn the system for themselves.
That's a good idea, but if we do have materials, we'll send out, tell you exactly what to do in an open house.
Is there a system here about pairing you with someone where I can, go and shadow, or is that up to me to find someone to ask for help?
But normally, you can put it on Facebook, hey, I'm looking to shadow somebody who's doing an open house.
Okay.
And they'll do that.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if my people tell me, hey, you have an open house that I can shadow you, or do you know somebody that's doing an open house, we'll try to help, but it really is your responsibility to find. But we do have, we're working on a program to get coaching clients first opportunities for open houses. So we have some top producing agents that submit to us the open house, which means we give y'all the opportunity first. So we're gonna be developing that program better.
After this, can I have a minute with you, because I'm actually, helping someone with an open house this weekend. And, she said she's got two jewel agents, and she says all on, represented by, I can get those leads, so I want a bit more direction before I jump into this.
Yeah, and she'll direct you with that. I actually have to be supposed to be somewhere at 10:30, that's not. And I have another meeting later. We can talk. I don't know if you have my information, but call me. I can probably have a conversation. I don't know that I can stay a little bit later than me, but we can talk definitely before time. Okay. What do we, I feel like we just give you more stuff. I talked about drinking from fire hose and I did that. So I think the keys from this is to know coaching is valuable. We are here to help, but we are here to hold you accountable. We do take rolling coaching. I send Marlene every time I have a coaching session. Hey, here's, like, I had a coaching session last night and I emailed her, here's who was on. Because what I want to do is that person who comes to me and says, I'm not making any money, I'm ready to quit, or your coaching is not valuable, then I'm gonna look up and go, well, you went here, 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 here. You didn't go to this, this, and this. No program is going to be valuable if you don't take advantage of it. So we are here to help, but you have to take advantage of it. There are plenty of resources. Every time Michelle says we need to develop something new, I roll my eyes. And I say, we don't need any more new. We just need them to take advantage of what is there. Coaching and group conjectively together will build your foundation to get you. Questions?
You saw my name.
Wow.
MLINE. What's your last name again? Marlene,
MYLIN.
MYLINE. MYLIN.
Okay,
Thank you.
my daughter is Malin,
Oh.
MAYLIN.
Here's what it looks like. I just get a lot of questions because it says cyberbacker.
And is that for all the coaching team? This is.
Yes, he works for the coaching program.
Okay.
For all the works. He's basically Michelle's assistant.
Okay.
Yeah. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you covered everything wonderfully.
Somebody telling me I'm like.
You know, another thing that I suggest personally as a coach, and it doesn't have to be, you know, there's 5 or 6, whatever, they each have PC clientele. One thing I would recommend, doesn't have to be within your group, but it's probably best. Find a partner in your group that you do split with, that you kind of have a backup, you know, just somebody to vent to, whatever. Finding a partner, I found that's been really good. You know, just pick someone that maybe matches your personality and work together.
Do you think that? You think that's also appropriate to the role play?
Yes, I think that's why I brought it up exactly. And like in my group, there's 3 people that happen to be childhood friends, they
Oh,
get
wow.
together, so they're buddies, and I didn't realize this at first. But so when I asked them to pick groups, of course, 3 joined in, and they do it every day together. So pick anyone, but I have just found that's been a really good resource.
What about role playing? Because I started listening to role playing Bill Jones, exactly what to say.
Yeah.
So that he also has some arts about role play. This, do you think that's good?
Absolutely, like that book, everybody's reading.
That you. So I can turn you on to that, and that's actually on Tuesday. And she actually does it from 12 to 12:30 before our class, and anybody can come.
That's awesome, who's this?
Rita,
Okay, yes.
here,
It's called what,
Exactly what to say.
exactly what to say. It's really good.
So is this in the office calendar?
it's not, but,
Did she just do a little group play, group?
Can I, no, this is, I'm not in that grouping of the
take
second.
take a copy of that and email me and tell me, and I'll. put it
Okay.
over. And this is for you, you can have, whatever, because I know you're gonna need it. But you
What
don't
time?
have to call me, you won't need them.
Oh, are we continuing?
I mean, if they got questions, I have to go.
Okay, you go ahead. If you have questions, let me know.
For you, I just email you or text you and then.
I can do anything. Say anything after 1.
Okay, so I'm gonna need a meeting with this group.
Yeah.
I've got it in 30, so can I call after 30?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I got a jet. We're always resources to help. Michelle will be back in touch. If you learn nothing else from this meeting, find your secret person. And you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it seems overwhelming, guys, but you wouldn't be here if you didn't have the tenacity to do it. And you're gonna be fine, and there's always somebody here. You just gotta put into it what you wanna get out of it. And it can be a very rewarding career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're gonna love
Thank you
it.
so much. It's great.
It's great. Any other questions, you guys? I mean, I don't wanna hold you up if. But if there's anything, I'd be happy to answer. I got about.
Well, Connie, I was gonna ask you, you know, you said you would share that introduction, your video.
Yes.
Yeah, can I give you my email?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, let me give y'all my phone number, just text me. It's 70, it's on here too. So, yeah. And, you know,
So you can send us that free listing.
absolutely, I just want y'all to see it. Now, I'm sure they do different ones. I am a gold member with them, so I paid, you know, the dues every month with them, but. So they may have customized mine a little differently, but I've seen the others, they're great. It's just a good way of introduction. See, here's something, I'll just, a little tidbit, when I have a listing appointment, not only do I make sure I send that video ahead of time, like if I don't know them yet, right? But I take a basket, like, let's say my appointment's Friday evening. I will take a basket over there, maybe Thursday, whatever. Nice little, sometimes I have labels I got from the same place y'all get signs, All Star. For my wine, I go to Trader Joe's, buy cheaper wine, you know, whatever. Yeah, I put those labels on it, it's, or whatever, simple cup of glass of wine, and I usually put my brochure, that's it. A little, you wouldn't believe how effective that is. You can hear something else called Popeyes. You're gonna hear this a lot in classes. What Popeyes are small gifts. I'm not talking about spending a bunch of money. Those are effective. I'm gonna tell you, me and Alicia, she's my partner, even, well, we have a team. Alicia, you know, the tall one, anyway, our characters are on my door. Every single year, around this time, we start our Popeye gifts. Now, what we do, we go in our database and pick the strongest potential, like I just, and it's not that I give gifts to people a year later, but I'm gonna strategically figure out who may be moving now, who may be needing this. And we do Popeyes, and what we do, we both go together, they never bother to find, we were like Amazon. We go by, like one year we did taco, let's see, I'm not your average, I forget what we did, we just loaded into the thing. We drop it at the front door, take a picture, send them a text, say, hey, we just wanna send you, drop by a little hat. So, I'm telling you, at least we'll test to it, we look at our numbers, every year when we start doing those pop out, like we'll make it a point to spend 2 or 3 weeks getting out there doing this. Every year, we pick up business at the end of the year because,
And then.
yeah, I mean, our numbers show it, last year when we just got 4 listings from it.
Question, do you do any events or traction from events? Do you get any?
Events,
Yes.
we do events, like we did, for example, one of my favorite ones that we got a lot of business from was Marvin did a little Halloween thing. You can bring your own table, do whatever, set up, we did a little raffle, there were tons of people. We bought candy, we did, yeah.
Do you feel that
do
you
events.
get business from that?
Yes.
Because like, I'm
Especially if you do it like from your database, at least for me.
Okay.
Like I'll have a first time home buyer seminar.
So I'm planning, I have an event coming up on December 13th, I will sing my house.
You what?
I'm gonna post at my house, 150 people. And it's all people from my database, my husband's database, and he's a mortgage.
Oh my
So
gosh,
it's
yes, I
gonna be
know more.
Awesome, and that's like we just bought the house in March, and it's our soft, like, hey, it's our first holiday. Hey, I'm also now with Keller Williams, I was starting,
Love.
alright.
Yeah, you definitely wanna host it toward, you know, your,
I
absolutely.
mean, I have a few more coming up too, like, I'm always like throwing things and having people,
Yeah.
just didn't know if it's something I'm gonna see rewards
Well.
from, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, you will see rewards from something like that.
Okay.
Right, so I'm gonna. You never get a chance, this is things to have Tupperware and all that, people were. Remember the amount of business they got from that? Yeah, absolutely, I will never tell you about like that's not. Yeah, because. You're the person of people, and person, yes, not just an email, it's not a Facebook post, you are basically hosting and talking. And do you imagine when they're there, you know, even like I would do little things like, I don't know, highlight your realtor around your, whatever.
I was thinking, so the way my house is done, it's like you come into the hallway. And then here you have the study for my kids. I was thinking doing like almost like a photo area with like a red tray. So when they come in, I'll be at the front door greeting everyone, and then we take pictures with everybody as they come in, and then I have a donation tree for the foundation support.
I think that's great, and it doesn't,
But we're hardly Keller Williams there because you wanna.
Yeah, but I'm doing it soft, so I'm having my husband do a speech.
about mortgage, you lead in it. I was
And then-
just gonna say, you should definitely take that opportunity to get up and make a business.
So
Short and sweet, but enough, he's talking about mortgage, oh, my wife can help you with. I've seen a lot of people who go marry a mortgage person. I know people that have that.
for years I've been sitting listening to them, now I'm like, all right.
Then, yeah, I can't tell you enough how those kind of things are effective. Know that. Yeah, and if you're gonna farm a neighborhood, now, let's go to, if you're gonna farm a neighborhood, one thing I wanna say about that is, and we have so much material, we can send you to help you, what do? You know what I do, I'm so old school, I have these notebooks like this with pockets, but a big one. I've got all my whole year plan, what I'm doing to farm in a neighborhood. Now, as a new agent, don't go farming 3 or 4 neighborhoods. That's a waste of money. It's too liquefied. What you want to do, pick a neighborhood, preferably go do a quick CMA on the neighborhood. You want a neighborhood that's turnover. Don't pick a neighborhood that sells 5 homes in a year. That's not the neighborhood you want to farm. Do something really like, I pick the ones that have top school districts, okay? I definitely do my quick CMA and see how many I've sold in there in a year. If they sold 50 homes, that's where I want to be. Follow me? You want the big neighborhoods. Now, as far as expense, Jules and Leah do all this for me, right? I just tell them, hey, I want to, this farming piece I'm gonna do, they do it all. I don't even do anything, but sometimes I'll say, let's say I do Hunter Oaks, for example. Over 1,000 homes. House there's two, and Leo lives there, my dog. In the house, anyway, so what happens is when I go in there and farm, I have something every single month, but statistics say it takes about 7 months for you to get good brand. And it's okay to say you're a neighborhood realtor, even if you don't live there. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been in this a long time, people have this perception. Let's say they want to buy in Hunter Oaks. They find out I live there. You know the neighborhood, you've been in the agent for 10 years too, you know it. They're gonna hire me because they think if I live there, I'm gonna be better at it, which is false. That's a myth, obviously, right? We're all doing the same thing, no matter if I live there or not. But people think you're the neighborhood realtor, if you live there, you're gonna be the bomb. So I always did neighborhood realtor. Doesn't mean I live there, but they think that. Follow that. I mean, it works. I'm just trying a little tidbit. I mean,
So many realtors already in.
and don't worry about that. You are correct. Because I used to do the same thing when I first started. My mindset was I'm going after luxury listings. I didn't want to do a bunch of, not that I do them all day long. I'll do a 200. I'm not too prideful.
Well, are they?
My point is, get the money. If I sell, I'm gonna do the same amount of work, probably even more, because it's only 300,000. Okay, I'm gonna make 9 grand off of that. Well, no, I'm gonna go here and list this 7 and 8. So I'm gonna make 25,000. That is a mindset you wanna have, because I'm telling you, it's no different, but I was intimidated at the beginning. I was thinking when I went to $1 million listing, I thought I was gonna die before I went, because I felt like they're different. They have $1 million, it's gonna be wait. It's not. They're the same thing, same people. Some of my sweetest clients have been the $2 million. Good old country people, not what you, it's not intimidating. The whole point is go after $100, do the same thing. Confident, someone's got listed as $100. And statistics show first agent to that appointment gets it. That is not a lie. Usually if I'm the first agent in there, I'll get it.
I got a question. So, because I'm both my neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
I live in the Palisades.
Okay, perfect. Definitely want to farm.
Yeah.
I'll say turnover.
Okay, so there's this, it's high turnover.
Yes.
Listing are high.
$1.
And then there's this woman, she's lived there for, since pretty much the neighborhood was created. I don't wanna say her name because I don't wanna, everybody has their own way, but she gives terrible experience and I have to deal with her when I bought my house. It is the most horrible experience I had in my life buying this house.
Was she your wife?
She was not, she was a listing agent. Her house sits on the market for days and days. It's,
I think overpriced. Sounds like.
she just doesn't care. She'll
Right.
put a sign on front and then she doesn't care. She does not give love. to
Does
the
not
house. She doesn't.
work
it's-
it.
So I'm trying to get into this market, take over that league because I had a bad experience, so I don't want to see her signs anymore.
Right.
But like, how do I fight? Like, because she's got a lot of mistakes. I see, I'm driving and I see. her
Don't
name
let
over
that even phase you. I did the same. So when I started, wait a minute, this up, but anyway, I went to Valentine Country Club. I think I'm going. Oh, well, there's a guy named Eric Evans in there. Had every sign. Had his little convertible. He was like a playboy type of guy. It was funny, but he monopolized that. So I have the same mindset. Keep going to there, it's very good. And then I remember this was during time I met when they told me, I'm not gonna stop you, and I didn't. And I went in there, I got listings, and sometimes people would say to me, because then I got to be, you get to be friends with your clients because you're working with them 30, 60 days,
Yeah.
not overnight. And I remember asking one of them, let me just ask you, because I was newer and he was experienced. I said, why didn't you look at Eric? I mean, they said, he has so many listings, he doesn't care about them. I want somebody that's part about the list.
Right.
So it's different minds. But eventually he's tired now, but the point is, don't let that stop you. Hunter Oaks probably has 10 aggressive, if not more, real estate agents in there trying to. It's okay. Okay, I'm gonna be one of them. I'm gonna get some business in there. I'm not taking all the business.
Yeah.
Remember how many you have to close to cap in a year to make 100,000? It's not that many.
Connie, I do have a question. You mentioned something about monthly newsletters. So
That's a $500 package, I think. Y'all have your package on there? Yeah, it's all the top agents in here use it. They are so effective because they make them, their interaction, they're telling about what's going on around here.
there isn't a big newsletter that,
Oh, there's not a hard copy.
no, like that I could email to say a potential client.
You can, but you have, like I say, I pay for them to make this. I mean, they're designer and they want to make it. But I get business off of their newsletters, like in the old days, I did my own and send them out. Now I get business from it. When I call someone in my database, say, oh, love your newsletter, thanks for blah, 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 blah. Great. But they're so interactive. I mean, Leah will spend hours on making sure, they study what's the thing to get clients, what's what works.
Yeah.
They know, I mean, like they tell you, don't do 6-minute videos. I mean, nobody's gonna sit there. I got this one coach, I love him to death, the coaching client that used to have. And I think, do a video short one. Would spend 5-6 minutes at an open house in a time. And he wasn't getting a return. I kept telling him, well, that's because nobody's waiting past 10 seconds. You gotta make it, And again, I finally hooked him up with them. I said, go talk to them. I'm not a marketing guru. They do everything for me, but the newsletter's effective. Because what they do, my whole database gets. I don't do a thing. They know exactly, and every one of my people get that newsletter. Right, and that's every month, and you probably will see on your phone from even Keller Williams, because there's so many agents in here that use them. I'll see their newsletters, so at least see what's but they are so effective.
So if you would start farming like a neighborhood, you would just start sending those newsletter and like.
Well, that's part of my whole database, and yes, I do send it to my farming communities, right? But more what I do, I figure out, okay, let's see, this month I'm gonna offer a CMA and do maybe a advertisement or a quick CMA. Remember, we can put stuff in under boxes, but we're not allowed to unless we mail. I will tell you, mail is way more effective.
That's
So I will tell you.
Letter boxes.
Yes. And some people can, some neighborhoods that are in mind. Okay, but when I farm a neighborhood, I will tell Lee or Jules that month, let's just say I don't want to do all 1,000 because that's going to cost me a lot of money, son. And I want to focus my marketing somewhere else. So I'm gonna say, Jules, take the neighborhood this month and do this for me. Whether it be whatever it is, I'm gonna make some impact. Now, we'll also tell you another secret that I picked up one of the leads. Somebody's having a garage open, what is it called? Garage. When the sellers are all in their driveway, and guess who's there? You're gonna be there, like 1 year, I got a bunch of flowers, you can get one little flower in each. Cause I gotta be cost effective.
Yes.
Keep spending up, So I put my business cards on my stapling onto my little flower thing. It's minute, it's little, but they loved it. and I put it in a cute little thing. I just stopped by, but I just had to go to each driveway. I didn't have to knock on a single door. And say, yeah, and I just it's amazing. And what I always try to do on those garage things, I try to go up and say, hey, you know how much your house is worth? We talk about that sometimes. And I'll say, no worries, I know you're busy with your garage sales. Give me your email, I'll send you some information, and I'll go do a CMA for them. See how effective that is? If they ever think about selling, even if they're not right now. Some realtors gave them a whole CMA. They take me a little while to work on them.
Yeah.
You know, they take time. You do it right. Or you can just do, sometimes I do a quick CMA of the neighbor. It's a huge tool. What that is, when you do a quick CMA, it takes 1 second. Go do a search, put in Hunter Oaks, click on quick CMA, everything I need. How many are active, how many are under contract, how many have sold this past 6 months. That takes me 2 seconds to print. I can pass those out all day long. So think about if you're at a garage, selling a neighborhood, you got a quick CMA, that means overall, if the whole neighborhood is only 2 pages, you go hand those out, that's huge.
So, Connie, is it appropriate for me to send a quick CMA to a teacher listing?
Absolutely. Now, here's the difference there. A quick CMA, yes, you can give an overall view of the neighborhood. How long do they stay on the market? How much do they get? Period asking, it tests everything on this form. However, it's not, that is a good initial thing. But if they're honing in on a certain home, let's say my buyer wants to buy a home, or I'm getting to go to a listing appointment, I've got to do my adjustments.
Yeah.
Because that house could have an upgraded kitchen that costs them $35,000. This house doesn't. On the quick CMA, I always use the numbers. On the long CMA, that's where I'm doing my adjustments.
And in the business plan classes, do they show you how to?
Do a CMA? No.
Okay.
No, you need to take specific CMA classes. Go to Canopy. On MLS, that's where they have all these classes you can register. They try to pull people in here all the time. We just had a guy in here teaching CMA about a month ago. You know, any chance you get, because when you learn to do a good CMA, you're gonna feel more confident. That's what I struggle with the most. It took me a few years to really, you know what I mean? Because there's so much. I used to have an appraiser friend, I go to him all the time and say, this isn't making sense. And he'd say, honey, you're a black and white person. I ain't like this way. Well, CMA's not like that. They're gray. They're opinionated. They vary. But adjustments should be around the same percentages. Because basically what we're doing is what an appraiser does, but not to their depth. Okay. We still got to come up with a good price. Okay, so that's why the long one is a must when you go to an appointment, because what if you say, oh, well, this house, same square footage, great, well, it's the same. All of a sudden you find out they spent $35,000 on your kitchen every year. That's value. They're not gonna get 35, but they're gonna get probably half of it. Follow me? So that's why that has to be done. The biggest adjustment you have to do in a CMA is your square footage. Figure it out. It's more it's gonna cost and story.
And so.
You gotta learn all this. You gotta learn that a basement's not gonna give you 100%. You're only gonna get about 50% of the square footage for a basement upgrade. All these little things. Okay, now I will in my group, my coaching group, what we did, I gave them all an address. Hunter Oaks. We're all gonna do CMA, y'all can get together, whatever, we're gonna come back together, we're gonna see where everybody is, I'll tell you where I got to mine. And it may not be the exact number you have, but it needs to be the same.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with telling the client, we're somewhere between 770 and 810.
Especially nowadays, I mean, all I see is prices coming down even within Hunter Oaks.
Yes.
Homes that are sitting there for a long time.
Well, that's because we've moved to a buyer's market. There's more inventory, more choices, they're pickier, way pickier. And you know, for us that went through COVID, the whole 9 yards, sometimes when I list a home, like, y'all don't remember, but I would list a home Friday, Saturday, and 20 offers. It went all the time. Didn't matter if the market was filthy, paint could be off.
40,000 over here.
Due diligence. That's how much due diligence I used to. Meaning, see, I'm not going anywhere with a house, diligent helmet. My sellers say, I'm not fixing a damn thing, they're not going anywhere. But that was that market. Now, unfortunately, buyers are more picky. You know, they're not just taking, oh, this doesn't have all the upgrades, well, I'm gonna go see this price when I can get more upgrades. That's why you're seeing all the, because people are still in that mindset.
Or I think by new construction, right? I think more people are becoming more interested in new construction.
Yes, I mean, it depends
Like
on
nothing
the.
else is dated now, right? Like.
Right. But see, Hunter Oaks, things like that, they're gonna drive it, and I'll tell you why, Marvin Ridge Schools. It's all about the schools when it comes to real
It's
estate.
all about the schools, that's what we moved, and the houses have more than doubled than what we paid.
Because COVID, yeah, like Hunter Oaks is a great example. So I listed my neighbor's house right before COVID, 2019, I remember this. Listed it, it was the same model as my house, blah, 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 figured it all out. And I said, let's get aggressive, we're gonna go up 460. Okay, so I remember we got it, nice house, we got, you know, got high, it was the highest in our road for that thing. 2020 hit, guess how much that house is worth now?
Oh, nine.
800.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Our Hunter Oaks price point used to be in the 4, 5, 6 was kind of high, 7. We have $1 million homes selling with brick front vinyl siding wrapped down around the head.
But
But it's a school.
Yeah.
They will. Hunter Oaks, Somerset, those are probably the most affordable. We're getting.
That's what I tell them.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when they used to say it Marvin, they do, they call it, yeah, Marvin Rich or whatever, but that's what I'm saying. School, yeah, same with on retail. If you're in a good school district, that's where you wanna do business, that's where you wanna list, yeah, that's where you get the money. Just is what it is.
There's a new neighborhood across the street from us. And they're starting at 1.2.
And it's a good school district.
Yes, it's the campus and schools. So
Yeah.
I think it's like,
Yeah, the best schools in Union are gonna be, you know, people always ask me when you have clients relocating, schools most important, we have kids. I'm gonna tell them the truth. I'm gonna say, okay, I raised my kids in Marvin Ridge. The top 3 schools were Marvin Ridge, Weddington, and Cuthbertson. I'm gonna be honest. I know we're not. Yeah, if we go, well, if I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're right, if I go here, I'm gonna say Audrey Kell, you know, I'll name them all. There is a website called greatschools.org, send your people to it, because they'll give them all. But I don't mind saying, I raise my kids here, I think this, I'm giving my opinion, because lots of times we're talking real estate, no, you can't see that, oh, you can't do this, oh, you can't do that. Well, to some degree, I get it, like, we're not supposed to say, they ask you. What nationality lives in this neighborhood? We're not supposed to touch that, right? It's Fair Housing Act. What do I tell them? Come back after school when the school bus comes, with all the parents are there,
that's true.
let them make us. See what I'm saying? So we have ways around it, but I'm not gonna sit here, another example, you're supposed to recommend 3 home inspectors. I used home inspector in Carolina for 17 years. I used the same inspector. And that 99% of my clients use them, because then I ask you, they don't have inspectors, and ask you, that's why they hired me, well, what do you have, great vendor, no. Anyway, so I had it, they teach us all the time, you're supposed to recommend 3 attorneys. I don't do that, even with a lender, I got one lender in my back pocket that I love, that I would use for my own family, that I trust, that I can call anytime. That's what I'm gonna recommend to you, I'm not gonna recommend someone to recommend.
So, but I have a great mortgage broker.
I don't you do. I'm sorry.
He is single. I'm married, but
Oh, wait, I thought you were talking about your own.
no.
Goodness.
He's been working for 20 years with mortgage brokers, mortgage industry. He helped start it, Lending Tree, all of this, but he's the back end. You never see him. He's like just
I
a
see.
brain of tech. All our pull around are exact, a moving mortgage,
Love movement, my
owners,
favorite,
um,
Simon Brings.
owners of different mortgage brokers around here, so those are my mortgage connections.
Gotcha.
There's one in particular that I love to work with because he works with a product that's very diverse and he can kind of get everybody qualified and he has different roles
Right,
for depending which clients you have, right?
right.
But he's more expensive. So like you're saying, you work with one, that's my go-to person in my interaction. But if I'm working with a school teacher, that might not be the best fit for her. You know what I mean? Because
Well, I mean, most
it's a more
lenders-
expensive products that sell. He's got different products that are more expensive than a movement mortgage loan office.
I see. Yeah, I mean, like Movement, for example, they have different programs, but they're very good on. the
Oh, they
rates,
are.
So I can know, main thing I love about selling in the Movement is, number one, never have a deal fall through. Number two, the way he talks to my clients. That is important with anybody you refer.
Yes.
Gentle, you know, he's not fishy, you know. I just love the way he takes care of my people, and he will tell them, hey, he will say, oh, you got another, a good faith estimate from another lender, let me look at it, see if I can beat it, and he will try to beat it. You know, that's his mentality, help me, help him, he's a great guy. But yes, and for example, I've used this home inspection company so long, I can't in my good heart say, go try this one when I know this is the one I would use for my kids, myself.
What is it, Home Carolyn?
I use Home Inspection Carolina.
Oh.
Y'all remember the crazy pant guy? Maybe y'all didn't see him in your classes when he wears funky pants. He's the owner of Preston and his wife. They've owned it for years and they're just good people. And they're also probably, in my opinion, the best inspectors out there. Now, keep this in mind though, all these inspections, well, most, like this one is a big one, they have like different inspectors, maybe, I don't even know how many, 12, 15. You can pick who you want. Now, if you don't pick one, you'll get one, and you'll have to use them. But like Tim and I have always connected well. He knows I come to my inspection at the end. I want him to go over it with my clients. So we know how we work together. So I always request him. And he's really good about not killing deals. Because inspectors used to be deal killers. That's what we used to call them, deal killer. Just get there and they'd be like, oh, see you in the constant. They train on this. They know how to talk to them, they know what to say, not to be deal killers, because all I want is for you to explain it to my client very thoroughly. If they have any questions, just want to make sure my client's at the inspection, not the whole inspection. You don't want to sit there for 3 hours, and the inspector wants you there. All around, so I always tell my people, inspections at 9, Tim, I know it's gonna, this size house will take about 2.5 hours, I'll text him, I'll be there 11:30, great, I'll be done by then. He meets with us, he has his laptop open, goes over everything. How great is that?
Yeah.
Because you will find inspection reports are very long and scary. If you don't go and you just let that email go to the client with the report, they're gonna freak out and go out. 70, 80 pages of problems, well, they're all like that. But see, when you go to inspection, they'll go over it. Like there's always a summary. And then they break it down with pictures, what's wrong. So yes, it's about 70, 80 pages, but I'm talking about stopper in the sink. The caulk, right? So one thing I want you, I'm sitting here teaching inspection class, but one thing I want to point out, I always talk about this in my class. One thing you gotta remember about a home inspection, this is where people get messed up or new agents. They're not looking for cosmetic. The inspector could care less if there's a bubble or you know, paint's messed up. They're not looking for that. They're looking for items not working as intended. Okay, we're talking mechanical, we're talking windows, we're talking roof. So that's what I always tell my clients. If they're looking for things not working as intended, what we're gonna wanna do, you can't ask the seller, what's our contract say? Seller doesn't have to fix a thing if they don't want to. Okay, so in other words, there's no writing saying they gotta do anything. Okay, so the way I approach it, I tell my clients, look, this is normal for resale, okay? The inspector works for the buyer, they pay it for the inspection, so they're gonna find everything to make sure they're covering themselves, right? All right, so what I tell my clients is, let's look at it. The next day we get the report after we've already gone over it, but we'll physically get it. we're gonna discuss what items are most important to you. So I'm already set the president, we can't ask for all items, that's not how it works, okay? So since this house has a problem, the HVAC wasn't, the temperature wasn't dropping as fast as it should. That's gonna be something I wanna address. But let's not worry about that talking over here, because we got 4 or 5 kind of major items that we need to hopefully get addressed. Follow me? So you gotta set the expectations, because the public doesn't know, for all they know is, we're getting inspection and we're gonna ask for everything and they're gonna fix it all. No, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna piss off the other seller and it's gonna go sideways. You got to teach the public who's not used to doing real estate every day what the expectations are, so that the deal goes. Okay, because I've heard an agent say, well, they told me send a whole report, so I did. Well, you're not doing your job by explaining to him the expectations. That deal went south. And I can see why, because you got to be, you got to know how it works on an everyday level to be able to convey to your clients. So, because they are looking at you, they know nothing. And even if they say, oh, we've sold lots of homes in the past, no, they don't know anything. Real estate changes yearly, monthly sometimes, right? The commission thing, that started in August after 50, 60 years, and you know, so you never know what's gonna change, but just know you're the expert, because you're in it. And we gotta counsel them to make sure that deal goes smooth. And inspections are the one thing that will kill your deal. And if you have a bad inspection, but my mindset is I always tell my clients, there's nothing that can be fixed. There really isn't. Okay, now if we're not getting the cooperation or the money for it, then we have to make some decisions. Do we want to move forward?
And we can,
Hey, oh, yes, come in. Logging you.
Oh, well, I'm sure we know what Robles, you guys help yourself. I think that's a good setup.
Yeah, so I told them I've been using it over 15 years. I don't even recommend the numbers. Well, I don't, because I don't use numbers. So it kind of makes it work that way. So I was just telling them about you. Yeah.
Well, the pants are just from, we don't wear pants, I mean, we don't wear jeans. Thank you so much. I brought lots of good blankets. Thank you guys.
Next week. How funny is that? Yeah, see, I have to meet him and his wife, Megan, Meg, she runs the show when you. But it's so easy, we get online and order. I order the inspection for my client, you will wanna do that. Because then ask me, what's it gonna cost me? Once we go in there and put in, all we got, here's how it's done. The older the house, the more expensive. So if you have a house inspected 1978 home, it's gonna cost more than a new one. Why? Lots more problems. It's gonna be way longer. So the older the house, so it's gonna ask you what year, that's gonna ask you square footage. The bigger, the more it's gonna cost you, blah, blah, blah. So then, that's how you figure out the price. Now, they do have all these packages and you can send the website and let your clients decide, whatever, but when I give them the price, I go in and order it. Day I want, time I want, inspector I want, first ask them, what day can you meet? And remember, I want. Sure.
So what do you do with the seller? Goes up and you're with a buyer and the inspector going over the report?
They are not allowed to be there because this is why we made an appointment. So I have an actual appointment time for the inspection. It's me and the buyer's time to go over the inspection. They should not be there ever. Now, sometimes you'll have people that can't leave or something. You know, we just then step away or outside so they don't hear our conversations. But no, technically, when you make an appointment, I've never had a seller show up unless they were sick or old. Did you have that happen?
Oh, listen.
Was that real?
Oh, that, yeah, I mean, everything that could go wrong, that's why I'm in this industry, is because of all that. If not, I would probably not be sitting here.
Wow.
You, listen, this is
That's what a nice
this is
thing. Wow.
thing on the list of nightmare experience.
Wow.
And then my sister just bought.
So your seller, when you were buying it, was in the home?
We're to The inspection took about 6 hours.
Okay,
And so we were there, we showed up at the end with our realtor.
okay,
And as in, she had blocked the whole day and everything, and he showed up, he was like knocking on doors, slamming doors, like really making us feel like we should be on the property when we're trying to buy it.
but you have an appointment.
Yes, listen, this is
You
why I'm
have an
saying
appointment.
because I don't want anyone to go through experience like
Wow.
And
Yeah,
so
that's-
the
Wow.
seller, the person selling the house was doing that,
Sounds
and
like,
then the agent wasn't there.
that. Oh, he's agent, that's another.
well, no, he was the listing agent, but he owns the house, he probably came back after inspection and just was irritated they were still there.
There was all sorts of.
But see, that's where communication comes in. Hey, now I talk to my sellers. Step by step, okay, we'll have an inspection on this day, you know, tell them. Here's what you need to do. First of all, they'll make an appointment, you need to be gone. And if they say, well, how long, whenever, I say, well, I'm not sure yet, probably about this time, but I'll let you know when it's over, whatever it is. But most of my sellers are fine, dude. I don't take over. Yeah, they don't even question it.
Yeah, my agent is not that, she was,
You sound like you had it.
yeah, and then, but you know what, my sister just bought a property, near Apex. And she had another experience. Very, very similar, that now they're in a situation that they're like. They don't even know, like half the stuff they asked, the agent didn't tell them the truth, or it was not accurate. And they found out like everything kind of at closing, because they were here, so they put her in charge to, you know, make sure the surveying was how she said, she never communicated, so they have like half the front yard they felt had, like.
Oh my
There's an airport by when they ask like 3 or 4 times, there's a sewer facility coming
Oh,
there,
wow.
like. So I was like, all right, I'm taking note of all of this and I'm gonna make.
Yeah, it's, I mean, there are, you know, agents out there that should be in business, but that's like in everything. You know what I mean? You can have your, and that's why I always teach, when I have a transaction, I'm making sure I'm managing it, I don't care if I'm the listing or buried. If I sense that other agent may not, and I don't care if they're new, that doesn't bother me, but if I can sense they're not quite, I will. Like follow up, say, hey, did you get that sent nicely? I'm never rude about it, but you gotta take charge of your own transaction as an agent like that, you mess it up.
That part.
And it's running, it's cute too.
I'm like, triple shot type of girl, look at her, tea bags.
Yeah. I just started drinking tea about 6 months ago, green tea, with cardiology here instead of all my Starbucks. But I do fine. I'm starting to put this. I'm gonna get one.